Bueno, bienvenidos a Tiempo Fuera. Hoy estamos con Ivan Buva. Ivan, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, you are a third Croatian player on the channel, and every time we have a Croatian player on the channel, we have a great time. So, you know, I really I really like Croatian people.
How you do? Who was before me? I didn't like check the page. But who
Uh,
was these two players before?
they are really young. One is Leon Bulic that plays
I
in
know he's now in Juventud. No,
no
he signed this summer.
Leon is in Brose in
Ah, okay.
Germany,
Yes, yes,
and
yes, yes, yes,
Tomislav
yes.
is in
Tomislav
Ju,
is in the Juventud.
Juventud.
Yes.
You know, I usually, you know, I keep in touch a lot with Tomislav because, right, you know, the club in the first team is not having like the greatest of starts of the season with the team, the great team that they have, you know, and hopefully this week he'll make the debut in the ACB.
Yeah, but he is young. I remember him because I follow ABA League. Okay, I followed last year, and every year when I was in Europe, I followed ABA League.
Yeah, yeah.
And now in Japan, I don't follow any league because basically when they play, it's really too late here. So I just checked the scores. Didn't watch this year much of European basketball. But I
Yeah,
know who is Tomislav because of last year in Zadar when he played.
yeah. Well, and you're doing not that bad. You know, you played 7 games in Japan this year, and you're averaging insane numbers. Let me say that.
Yeah, but this injury, it's this is my first injury, and I play really good, and I was like hoping to have make it through. But that last game against Hiroshima home was like in the last quarter, last 5 minutes. I knew it was something serious, but now like it's like stress fracture on the left ankle. So basically, I'm out. I hope I come back, but I think realistically around February to be
Oh,
back.
you have some time yet.
Yeah, I had surgery, so that's why it's like I had to have surgery because it was like partial fracture on left ankle. I don't know the name. It's inside of the not inside of the ankle, but inside the bone of the ankle, malaleolus or something like this. I don't know. So it was partially broke. So they had to put the screws. So that's postponed the recovery, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's a shame, you know. You were playing incredibly.
Yeah, I know, but they said you're getting old when you get these injuries.
And what made you take the decision to leave Europe and go to Japan this year?
But basically, like it was money wise. We can. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the offer that Japan make, it was like, when I was thinking, and they come pretty early. Basically, they contact me. I was still in the season when they contact me in the playoffs, but I signed it yet as soon as the season finished. So when they called me, it was like no brainer because when I put together like what could I expect, like money wise and everything, and I knew most likely no EuroLeague team will sign me, despite that we were champions in Lithuania and I was the best player and blah blah blah. But I'm 31, so potential wise, I could on that market make much more money than if I stay in Europe. Plus this war in Ukraine that little bit affect everybody, the clubs and generally the whole Europe. So it's hard to get like that kind of money that Japan offers. So that was like I want to try, and I heard all the best things about Japan. Only good things
Yeah,
by the organization, by living, by everything. I was in China. I was a little skeptic, but China and Japan, they're really two different countries. Japan is really, like I like to say to people, if they have letters that we understand, like in South America and Europe, without their like kanji and two other letters that they use. It will be almost like we're in Europe or some country like that. You know, because the only thing is a little bit difficult when you go somewhere to understand their like language, but they have like two language. They most of the time they have English translate, so you can like find a way where you need to go. But basically, it's easy and it's super nice, organized, clean.
Yeah, yeah,
For me, like one of the better country that I live. I cannot say top country because I think Spain is like for living the top country, but you know, like for sure after Spain, maybe the best country to live in.
yeah. Well, and you yourself made quite a journey with basketball. You played in, the EVA League in Italy, in Spain, in Lithuania, in France, in Turkey, and now in Japan.
Yeah.
Uh, how did you leave basketball? Or how did you? Uh, how was it traveling with basketball?
Man, as I'm getting older, it's harder. You know, like it's really easy. You know, basically, I was living all of my career in a suitcase. So every year I changed the destination. I never was able, except Ritas, to stay more than one season. But Ritas, I come in the middle of the season, so basically it's 1.5 season. So I was hoping that when I signed Japan, I will stay in the same club more than one season. But I don't know what can happen because I get now injured, so I need to come back. But I must tell you, it's not easy. You know, like especially with the family, and I have wife, dog, traveling. It's not easy, to adapt every time new city, new life. It's stressful. It's not easy, but you're young, so you're like basically chasing the opportunity and chasing like basketball wise. You think that's the best solution for you, so you have some kind of goal, so you don't like really pay attention to this like moving stuff and this kind of stress that it causes. But
Yeah,
as you get older, you realize it's really it's really better to sometimes stay less money somewhere than every time go for more money and change the club. But it is what it is. My basketball journey.
yeah. Well, and also going a little bit into your uh, early career, we could say,
Mm.
who or what made you start this journey in basketball?
You mean why I start play basketball?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean there was nobody at beginning as a person why I start play basketball. It was just like in a junior school, my friend like asked me like, "Let's go shoot outside," and I kind of like it. We were doing like a whole year. I was like junior school, like fourth, fifth grade. We went every day, basically, almost after the school on a playground. Outside is a minus. It's a snow. Doesn't matter. We take the ball and then it's all started. One other friend from the class called me to go to this I say Vucici. It's like from Cibona back in the days. They organize in the schools the clubs. They name Vucici. So when you join that kind of club, they're like looking the best kids to take. So that's how it all started. I started pretty late. I was like 13, 14 years old, so that's like pretty late. And then like my first coach, Srećko Medvedev, saw me on my playground and asked me in Cedevita, and that's how it started. I went with the 14 Cedevita, finished like with 21, something like this, and went to Cherokee. But in the meantime, when I was playing basketball, there was a couple of people that my idols. Of course, one of them was Kobe Bryant that tragically passed away a couple of years ago. And as I'm getting older in my position, I start looking like more players similar to me, so I can copy some of their style because today's okay fives can do a lot of stuff, but when I started, it was more like basic
Yeah, yeah.
post, mid-range shot. It was not like
Tim Duncan.
3-point specialist five. You know, yeah. Tim Duncan was the guy, and Dante Tomic. You know, yeah. I remember when I was following the NBA, like when I was young. Channing Frye was like the only guy I think back in the days that shoot threes. He was coming off the bench shooting threes. Today, if you cannot do shooting threes and put the ball on the
Yeah,
floor as a five, basically you cannot like even play, on a certain level because that's what basketball requires. So, but I'm able to adapt, work on my game every summer. So here I am, So
well, and you mentioned that you watch a lot of NBA, and that's the reason I'm bringing this in. But just as an example of how modern the centers or the fives are nowadays, just look at what Joel Embiid did the other day. The
oh yeah, I
59
I, I
points.
saw I saw I saw. I played this NBA fantasy with my friends, so I got Joel Embiid on fantasy. So I was like,
You were
I
happy.
was following up, and yeah, I was happy, and I was like, as soon as I see like someone had like crazy night, I put the highlights if I cannot watch. But usually, more or less, I watch the games. Not every team. I follow a little bit Detroit Pistons because they got like some interesting squad in Kate Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Of course, Jokic with Denver, Nurkic, my friend with Portland, Doncic, of course with Dallas, so Balkan players more or less.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Little bit Lakers because they got prime time, but this year I think,
No, 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 they're a
as a
disaster.
diehard Lakers fan, when Kobe was there, I think they really need to consider some serious rebuilding.
Yeah, yeah. We kind of we did a while ago a video like reconstructing the Lakers. Obviously, you know, who wants to give up LeBron James? That's an opportunity you cannot. I think whoever trades, if they trade LeBron James, they will go as the only franchise to ever trade LeBron James, and that would be a mistake.
Yeah, but I think he has like clausule in the country he cannot be traded. I don't
Um,
think. I think I don't think all of the stars. I think Kobe started, so they put in a contract. They need to approve to be traded. Otherwise, they cannot be traded. So LeBron, if he is not gonna request it, I don't think he's gonna leave the Lakers.
yeah, but one thing I noticed,
But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't know his contract, but that's my opinion.
it's probably what happened, what can happen, like with the big stars, that makes
Yeah,
a ton of sense. But what I was trying to say is that I think the thing going wrong with Los Angeles Lakers is the fact that they are the Los Angeles Lakers, because whenever the players play in a match like a team that doesn't bring as much attention, for example, we interviewed the other day Daniel Gafford that plays in the Wizards. Uh,
yeah.
and since then we've been watching the Wizards. Uh, it stood out to me Kyle Kuzma, that in the Los Angeles Lakers he was being criticized a lot, and then he went to Wizards and he's been quiet, but he's been averaging good numbers with good percentages. So I think the media takes a lot of part in like the player or what the player do.
No, it's true. I mean, like when you play in a team like Los Angeles Lakers, for sure is a different kind of pressure than when you play in a team like, for example, I don't know, Washington Wizards, let's say, or now Detroit Pistons. There is no expectations, basically, much as the Lakers. When you are a Laker, you always need to win the game. But the general problem of the Lakers is in my personal opinion, is the role players they have. I don't, these guys, I mean, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but they are not for Lakers.
Oh,
They don't.
it's true.
Usually LeBron really have good role players, but this year it's except Russ, Davis, and LeBron. There is nobody to play. Man. It's really sad, but it's true.
Yeah, and also one thing that we wanted to know a little bit is you had to play against so many people in your career. But what is one player that really stood out? That really was difficult to guard.
Difficult to guard. I would say like Tomic was like he really had like you know of course my team helped me so we double team him, but like one on one he really have these old tricks and he really like spin you in a split second, and it's really difficult to guard him one on one, especially on post. And I played when he was basically in prime. He's now a little bit older, he's 35, but he's still good. So that player I would say like was tough matchup for me as I remember. And the only guy that I met, and it was a little stronger than me, was Dexter Pittman. He was in NBA, ex-NBA player. He was in Bologna when I was in Avellino. I never played against stronger guy. It was, the guy was really a beast. I couldn't do much. And the other was Fesenko, the Ukrainian guy. I mean, of course, he was stronger. He got like 140 kilos, but he's stronger. But they're the players that I meet, and they're like was tough for me to have a matchup.
Perfect. Well, and also one thing that we are really curious about is
Yeah,
some if there is a reason why you wore your number. We know you were number 25, or you wore it at least.
yeah, yeah. It was like so. It was like I watched with my wife this 30 for 30 documentaries, and it was like Benjamin Wilson documentary. I don't know if you watch it. So basically, the point of like that I wear the number is like two things. So first, as I was young, they never like really respected me that I would make any career. So I really think I make a good career compared like what people thought about me in Croatia generally, and they never give me a big chance to make like a career like this. And he was also underrated. If you watch the documentary, you see he was underrated, and then he make his way to the like top 5 or top prospect in high school. And a second, like his tragic death that end up in like basically stupid argument in a liquor store or convenience store. So it's basically to remember that like life is really too short, and you never know when it can end. So you really need to appreciate the things that you have in front of you and looking forward, and not like complain. So basically, it's like these two reasons.
That's an incredible reason to have a number. Sometimes it's really sometimes one time we got like I don't remember who. I I think it hasn't been uploaded that episode yet, but it was something like he wore number 9 usually, but they have the number 9 used, and if it wasn't number 9, he used number 8, and they had the number 8 used, and if it wasn't number 8, he used number 7, and they had the number 7 used. So it was all that way until he ended up in 0. So sometimes they have like incredibly funny reasons.
Yeah. No, this was because when I was like that was first club that I left the country, so that's why I took that number. So
Well, and also another thing that we're extremely interested about, also surrounding like sometimes superstition is if you have like one thing that you always do before a game. Sometimes some players, do like wash their face 3 times and some things like that.
yeah, no, I don't have any particular thing that I do. I just like I like to come before the game at least like 1 hour 45 minutes. So I'm not in a hurry, so I can do all my stuff, all my exercise before the warm up. So when it's warm up, I'm in the head like in peace. I do all what I need to do to prepare for the game, and then I can like focus on the game. I don't like when we come 1.5 hour, especially in away games. So here in Japan it's different. We come 2 hours, which I like. So I don't have really something that has to be like every time before the game, but I like to come like earlier to do stuff so I can like mentally prepare for the game.
Perfect. And I want to clear this up. My dog is making noises, so I'm kind of muting in between so that I don't interrupt a lot. I think there's
No,
someone.
no problem.
And well, another thing that we wanted to know is, you mentioned Kobe Bryant, but you're obviously a center. Is there one player that you always look at their stuff, take some of their moves and some things like that, to just improve on your daily basis?
When I was kid, I was watch Kobe Bryant. I want to copy him, but like end up with I'm left. He was righty. But the player that I watch a lot is like a Jokic, and I like and I try to do some of his moves and to watch like especially if he do some kind of pivots. But passing, okay, I cannot like some passes. It's you can tell it's
Yeah,
just like
he's
pure
insane.
talent. It's hard to copy. It's really like depends on situation, but you can tell this is like a pure talent. But as scoring wise, I try to like implement something like not to be too complicated. So like I watch him and try to see what he's kind of do and try to implement game. But it's not that easy, especially when you get older and you like play basically the certain way many years. To add up like a different detail, you really need to like work it out and then put it in. So yeah, I like to like watch him what he's doing because it's the same position. So
Yeah, yeah. And well, moving on to, we have two other sections, but they are much, much shorter. This second section is
yeah, no
one.
problem. No.
Yeah, this second section is one in which the previous player we interviewed left a question for you. It's one thing that we try to.
Hey, hold up 1 second.
Okay,
One
no
second.
problem.
Hold up
Yeah.
1 second. 1 second. Yeah, okay. We can start.
I
Sorry.
cut it out,
I
no
had
problem.
mosquito. I need to get rid of the mosquito. My bad. I need to get rid of the mosquito.
Uh, I was saying that we try to like innovate and not do always like kind of normal interviews, because I think they can at some point it can be quite a little bit boring, so we try to do some things to be more fun, and this was one of the ideas. In this case, Juan Andres Galeto, a player from my favorite club in the world. I used well I still follow a lot of football, but I translate the things I like from football to basketball, and that football team that has been surrounding my family from Uruguay. Uh, I am also a follower of the basketball team of that football team. He plays in Nacional,
Okay.
and he is currently one of the best players in that team. He left a question for you that is, would you rather win in a national team scenario or in a your club scenario?
That's a good question, man. Because with the national team, I got like some kind of bad history, but I would choose like national team, because national team is like you represent your country, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's I think it's more difficult to achieve, and it's more pride when you achieve it.
Yeah, and right now in Europe, I believe it's really tough to win anything. There are some tough teams out there. Lithuania, Slovenia, Spain, Germany has a good team. Croatia too with Bogdanovic. They are really good teams.
Yeah, no, Spain surprised me how they win the Eurobasket compared that they didn't have any like really big stars like back in the days. So
Yeah, and do you have like a question you want to leave for our next guest?
do I have any?
question, to like continue,
No,
we
no,
can
we
give
can
you time.
continue. No, 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 no. We can continue. No, for me, I don't have any problem to continue like this podcast.
No, no, no. I was saying that if you have like a question you want to leave for our next guest to like continue the
For
streak,
the next guest. Who is your next guest?
that is one thing that we can say it because first of all we don't want it to be like uh, specific in any case. We want it to be like in general,
Okay,
but
okay.
also because sometimes we schedule an interview and that player might have something comes up and they have to reschedule so that it may not be
Okay, okay,
him.
okay, 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 okay. But I would ask that player for him the best five of the basketball for him, the best player for him on best five for him.
Perfect, that's a really good question. And the last section of this podcast is called Flash Questions. It's one in which we ask 10 questions that have nothing to do with basketball, and they are supposed to be answered fast. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time because they say it's tough, but whenever you're ready, we can start.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm listening.
Favorite movie,
Training day.
favorite TV show,
Wire.
not including basketball. What sport do you watch or play the most?
None, but I was watching football.
You're watching the World Cup in Croatia.
Uh, yeah, but most of the time AC Milan, my club.
A teammate you spend the most time with.
Tanner Leicester.
Favorite food.
Ooh, everything except the seashells.
Favorite video game.
FIFA, man.
Hot or cold.
Hot always. Hot.
One dream left to accomplish, not basketball related.
So again, one
One dream left to accomplish that has nothing to do with basketball.
one dream left accomplished, nothing to do with basketball. Tough one. Be a cooker. When I was young, I want to be a cooker, a chef.
Yeah, that's a good one. Uh, Favorite artist or musician.
I got like few of them, but I will say uh, Oliver Dragojevic.
And finally, favorite basketball shoes.
Nike or Jordan, Nike Jordan, because they got collaboration Nike Jordan. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, Ivan, that's basically it. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I know it's really late or late out there. I don't know at what time you usually, go to sleep or something like that. But
now when I'm usually a little bit later than usual.
well, we thank you a lot for taking the time to be here, and we'll keep in touch to give you the status of the interview and when it's going to be posting and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, and guys, have a good rest of the day. And it was a pleasure.
And good luck with the injury. Hey, hopefully you
Thank you.
get back on the court soon, and you can continue making those 23 points and 10 rebounds a game.
Yeah, I hope. Let's just come back say healthy, and I think it will not be a problem. Thank you, and we'll be in touch. Ciao.
Ciao.